King, show me. Go.
Blue.
Wow.
Blue. Yeah, that camera is blue.
Good job, buddy. Ooh, nice jump. Nice hop. Go. Oh, that's your rock. That's your
Alright,
rock.
King, jump.
Big jump, buddy.
Trying. You'll get better.
1, 2. Whoa, buddy King. What is up, YouTube? This is John from the internet, and it's been a little bit of time since we've caught up and chatted. It's not that I haven't been doing video. I actually did a private video of an event that I had this past weekend on Saturday for someone in particular. Can't share that quite yet, but wanted to check in and see how all of you are doing. I really do like making videos. And something I think I've come to learn and appreciate about my style of videos is that it is uniquely mine, and obviously, but I think there's a definite pressure, if you will, to feel like, the problem with YouTube, I think, as a novice vlogger, as a novice video content creator, is that at any point in time, you can pick a YouTube video, a random YouTube off the shelf, and it's so well put together. Like, so many folks are using better tooling and better techniques and are able to spend more time on creating their videos. And sure, there's the vast majority of our amateurs, just like me. But obviously, the YouTube algorithms promote the better quality videos, right? In terms of rendering and fidelity, sound, because they're objectively better. But one of the things that I love about at least the work that I do and the way that I'm thinking about the video that I'm creating is I just want it to be me. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to have to be able to look back at any of the videos that I create, and I want to be able to review them in a way where I don't think, wow, John, you're being so disingenuous, or you're not being authentic, or, I'm going to always have more information about the video and the context surrounding the video than any one of my audience members. But I think it's really important that I'm able to sit with the video, appreciate it for what it is, and know that I was able to communicate effectively, clearly, concisely, honestly about what was going on, not hiding stuff. Because so much of what the professional YouTubers, the professional video content creators is they're building a story, they're building a narrative. There is a commercial aspect to everything that they do, and that's fine, right? That's not a problem. But you can begin, the longer you're in this industry, the longer you're in the YouTube video content creator community, you begin to catch some of the more nuancy, kind of slightly more commercial, less authentic types of presentations. And that sticks with you, right? It changes your perspective of who these people are and what they're representing. And, and you begin to question, you begin to even question their motives. But all that to say is the most important thing I think about my process as I create videos, as I create this type of content, is that that's authentically me. And I really hope that you get a sense of that when you spend time watching the stuff that I create. So I don't know where that sits. I don't know where that lands, but it was really poignant for me, and something I was thinking about last night, because I went to this event last night with a bunch of other founders. It was a portfolio event. One of the venture capitalist organizations or venture organization that has backed my company, my project. They typically throw these kind of shindigs. And, typically they span, there are a couple different motives. Primarily, this one was about kind of an update on their fund and how effective it is, and also pitching to potential new LPs for more money for their next fund, which is totally legit. I mean, a venture capitalist's job is to continually to do essentially two things. One is to attract new capital and then to deploy it. That's like their entire job. And it's very difficult to do both simultaneously. That's why you have teams and you have partnerships and administrative layers and people to help. Because as simple as that might sound, it's actually very difficult. The idea of consistently raising capital, like perennially, I don't even know that, constantly, year round, would be nauseating. In fact, even the fact that I had to raise capital and the seasons through and by which I raised capital, they're the worst seasons of my life. But anyway, so hanging out with these great folks who I really love, and I was able to meet some other founders, and I met one gal in particular, and super talented, super smart, and she's trying to essentially build a new type of bank, of kind of a vertically integrated bank. Totally agree with the problem space. Banking and financial instrumentation and tooling is being commoditized. I think there's a huge opportunity there. And her particular angle was like the gig economy. But as she was sharing this information with me, I just began to get this sense of insecurity. Like she just wasn't confident about her pitch. She wasn't confident about the problem space she was attacking. But I instantly grokked it. Like I instantly understood. And so I didn't cut her off, but I said, "Hey, quick question. Are you a first-time founder? Like, it sounds like you're a little insecure in the way that you're presenting and positing the problem space, the industry, and the solution and trying to put together." And she looked at me for a moment and she said, I'm going to butcher this, but she said, "That is the single best piece of feedback I have gotten in a long time about my pitch." And so she was super appreciative. And at this point I was like, wow, that seems so obvious, right? Because just the way that she would present herself, she kind of like, body language, kind of like you kind of cave in, you kind of start looking down on the floor, just like this sense of embarrassment or like, and I get it. As a first startup, she's in an environment that she's totally green to. She never raised venture capital before, and she's in the context of VC, VCs are swimming everywhere, and I totally empathize. And so in that moment, I said, you know what? The best thing that you can do is to speak your truth authentically. And there's a difference between being insecure or being arrogant and being an asshole, and just being confident in the things that you know, and then of course just honest with the things that you don't. And I brought up this point because when I asked her, "Are you a first-time founder?" she kind of flubbed a little and said, "Well, like technically, not technically." I'm like, none of that matters. Like in your heart of hearts, like, is this your first company? And she kind of looked at me, she's like, "Yeah, absolutely. Setting up an LLC with a person that we didn't really do anything." I was like, "Yeah, that doesn't count. This is the first time you're seriously considering putting something together, putting it all on the line, jumping off the proverbial cliff and going into it." And I said, that's more important to me. And of course, any venture capitalist that you might encounter is that you're authentically, honestly, transparently presenting the facts. And you can be confident in that. And you don't have to think of that as a weakness. Because especially with the context of this VC, they are particularly interested in meeting founders with crazy ideas, and they're making huge bets on the persons and the team themselves. So I said, in this context specifically, like, you should be as confident as you can be about what you're trying to tackle, and be unashamed about your inexperience. In fact, that is in some ways a competitive advantage. And so just kind of another reminder that being authentic, being transparent with what is true, just has so much legs to it, and is able to bring kind of that authentic relational bridge and build relational bridges so much faster when you do it. And I always want to be a person who models that. And I think, and I was sharing with her, I was like, I think my blog, my video is an exercise of that, is an opportunity for me to practice those types of things that I truly value. All that to say, I just want to be able to look back on all these videos and say, that was authentic, that was true. I didn't hide anything, didn't sugarcoat anything. I didn't add any of the jargon, right? I wrote a couple blog posts about jargon poisoning recently. But I think we can just all go a little bit farther with the way that we communicate and be more effective communicators. And then just beautiful things, I think, happen as an outcause of that. Anyway, I don't know where any of that lands, but I just been thinking about that because I really think that is, I wrote a blog post about this the other day. It's the circle of competence. I would love for you to think about that. So link to the blog post below. But as I get older, as I begin to think more about the circles of competence, is a Warren Buffett type idea. There's so many advantages of that. And my hope is as I continue to grow and mature as an adult, as a professional, as a person, as a human being, that I'm able to better identify those circles of competence so I can do my best work. And then I can invite other people to do their best work in concert with me, especially as we build cool stuff. Anyway, have a great Thursday. That was it. I'm going to get back to work here. And I'll see you guys online.